Hello friends! Today I am back with a new update. Over the past 2 weeks I've completed work on the trolls. Of course, I will add some more visual effects later when I am polishing the entire board. But even today there is plenty to see. My name is Wolchy and welcome to my devlog. The channel analytics have shown that you're interested not only in seeing the results, but also in the process itself. So I will be adding more details about the creation process of various assets to my video reports, as well as adding work in progress shorts. So, the basic dwarf piece demonstrated in the last video set the tone for this game, so I didn't spend much time imagining the trolls. After making a couple of quick sketches, I started blocking. As you can see, I originally wanted the troll to hold a huge club, but after trying the blocks on the board, I decided it would overwhelm the composition, so I ultimately abandoned it. Then I started sculpting. I wanted the trolls to appear large and massive, very strong, and yet seemingly made of stone. This way I wanted to reinforce the fact that trolls are completely unlike dwarfs. To enhance the detail and make the silhouette more interesting, I added several skulls to the troll's belt and dressed him in primitive leather clothing. The skulls are a nod to the fifth elephant, where the treatise recounts how in the old times trolls proudly wore decorations made from the parts of their enemies. But times are different now. Science thought models the eternal war between trolls and dwarfs, which has lasted for centuries. I decided such a decoration would be quite appropriate. I also added growth to their skin to suggest camouflage and thick stone skin. Afterwards, satisfied the result, I set about optimizing. As usual, it was long, tedious and boring, but for some reason I really enjoy this process. However, after completing the optimization, I noticed the same problem as with the dwarfs. Only now the troll's back was too detailed while the front was too flat and dull. So I decided to add a rope to the belt, which not only enhanced the troll's appearance but also created a great visual rhythm with the dwarf. Next, all I had to do was optimize the rope and prepare the UV map for texturing. Then in Substance Painter I backed the texture from my sculpt and began generating a base paint job for the future processing. For this I'm using the SimplePBR plugin by Nhance School. If you're interested in trying it out, I left a link in the description. Using the plugin I set the base colors and lighting for the all troll components. I wanted to maintain the pleasing red to blue contrast between the dwarfs and trolls that I had in mind from the start. However, I decided to make the blue slightly muted, so that the color would evoke associations with the stone. Next, I exported the textures and the assets to 3D Code, my main texturing tool. The beauty of solo development is that if you get tired of one stage of the pipeline, you can take a break for a moment and switch to something else. So I decided to see how my troll would look in-game. After placing all the assets and launching the game, I found myself interrupted by cries of "for the monolith." Yes, right now the troll army looked more like a cult, because I'd set the focus on the Thud stone for all the units. But the dwarfs should be facing the trolls and trolls should be facing the dwarfs. So all that was left to do was rotate the trolls 180 degrees at the start. Now that's good. Next I played around with the scaling of the pieces, a bit to make the board feel less crowded. Created some animations and added a few sound effects. Unfortunately, I couldn't find a suitable monster battle cry on Pixabay, so I also had to mix a special sound effect to accompany the troll's jump after the push, similar to the dwarfs. Back in Blender, I used the Cell Fracture plugin to destroy my troll. Why? I wanted the troll to shatter into separate fragments with the crash noise after the dwarf had buff. There are only few trolls on the board and killing them is a difficult task, so a visual effect that would reward the player was needed. After importing, I covered the pieces with simplified collision meshes, wrote the appropriate code and began testing. However, it turned out there were too many elements, which didn't look practically impressive. So, like a Renaissance sculptor, I began removing some of them, and more testing. Satisfied the result, I returned to texturing. First, I needed to remove the artifacts left over from texture generation. During baking, some of the high poly geometry ended up on the wrong elements, and I needed to bring everything back to a proper look. Along the way, I enhanced the lighting and shadows, added various details, repainted the skin again, and finally everything was ready for import into the game. All I had to do was apply the texture to the mesh and adjust the color of the pieces. Now you can enjoy the result with me. Thanks for watching. Give this video a like if you enjoyed and don't forget to subscribe. If you're interested in the technical details of the game development, I invite you to my coffee blog, where a new article will be published any day now. Thank you for attention and see you soon. Bye friends.